Hi, I'm Simon Kane and welcome to A Taste of California, coming to you from the shores of Lake Tahoe. To most first-time travellers to the area, Lake Tahoe is one big beautiful blue lake. When Mark Twain first set his eyes on its crystal clear waters, he described it as surely the fairest picture the whole earth affords. Lake Tahoe sits directly south of the Cascades, 6,225 feet above sea level at the northern end of the Sierra Nevada mountains and straddling the border between Nevada and California. The air here is pure, crisp and clean, and the sun shines 80% of the time. And together with all that sunshine is an average of some 400 inches of snowfall a year. That's a lot of sunshine, a lot of snow, and a lot of lake inside 72 miles of dazzling shoreline. There are beautiful beaches, resorts, golf courses, rivers and ski areas all around Tahoe, which means spectacular all year round scenery and equally spectacular all year round sports. But sometimes all you need is just peace and quiet, and there are places for that too. There's such a lovely, relaxed, rustic demeanour here that seems to create days full of special moments. Up here in Tahoe, they call these special moments pure experiences. This is Tahoe City, and I know what you're going to say. It's kind of small for a city. Well, yes it is, but on the upside, you can see pretty much all of it from where I'm standing. In fact, from here, you can see the marina and mall, which is where I'm heading. The marina is one of the oldest on Tahoe. Prior to the 1930s, it was the end of the line for the railroad when it came into Tahoe City. The buildings there that house the mall and the restaurant were the original roundhouse and maintenance buildings, and these days the marina looks very nicely after its boating public and its discerning diners and shoppers. Virtually all of these big beauties are privately owned, and it is a full-service marina, so everything can be taken care of for you. But let's assume that you don't have your own transport. Well, you'll be delighted to know that you can rent a boat by the hour. There's a 4-hourly rate, or maybe a whole day, or even more. And there are just two things you need to know. Firstly, you don't need a license. All you have to do is take a 20-minute orientation just so you understand the rules of the water and which way's port and which way's starboard. And the second thing to know is that you can rent a boat like this, or like this, or like this. So you can play like this, or like this, or like this. And all of the above can be organised right here. But let's just assume for a moment that it's not so much boating, but more shopping and dining you're after. Excellent, you can get that here too. Also in the mall is the Tahoe Yacht Club HQ. Founded in 1925, it's one of the oldest boating associations in the West. It also stages the annual Concours d'Elegance for antique and classic wooden boats. Quite a sight, I'm told. And make sure you try out the Sierra Vista restaurant and bar, open 7 days a week for lakefront lunch and dinner. It's not hard to see the attraction. And while we're talking lakefronts, Jake's is another one of those great establishments that pretty much personifies the carefree Tahoe spirit with its classic waterfront grill, just as it has done for almost 30 years. It's right on the waterfront next to the marina, with a classic grill menu that showcases Californian cuisine with a very impressive selection of fresh fish, seafood and steaks, and a seafood bar. Jake's also has the reputation of being one of the places to meet in Tahoe City, with its busy bar, 2 cozy fireplaces and mountain lodge ambience.
Like a guy walking through
This is Wolfdale's, or as they describe it, Wolfdale's Cuisine Unique. On the front is North Lake Boulevard, downtown Tahoe City, and on the back, the stunning north shore of Lake Tahoe with heavenly ski area in the background. Now, this is a restaurant whose reputation is built on 30 years of serving fresh food simply, elegantly and artistically under the same owner and the same chef as the day it opened. The menu blends flavours of the West with those of the Far East, specialising in seafood with an Asian fusion influence. In fact, it was the first in California to serve Asian fusion, which is why it's called Cuisine Unique. Stunning colours, beautiful ingredients and elegant preparation make for pretty special results in all departments, and the desserts are simply a work of art. Open 6 days a week for dinner, 7 in July and August. They also do special celebrations, from garden barbecues to formal dinners and lots more in between. And by the way, Wolfdale's has been honoured by Wine Spectator for having one of the most outstanding wine lists in the world. So if you want to try some, you better make a reservation. If you leave Tahoe City, heading south along Westlake Boulevard, about 2.5 miles down the road, you'll see this classic old Lake Tahoe Stone and Pine Lodge. It's the Black Bear Tavern, and it's the oldest restaurant building on the lake. The Forest Inn, as it was known then, was originally built in 1933, and in the 30s, 40s and 50s was the place to be seen. The inn now belongs to successful San Francisco restaurateur and chef Craig Cooper. He bought the inn in 1997, and he's restored a long-standing tradition of fine wines and outstanding original mountain food. Everything from Grandma's classic boarding house meatloaf to Californian seafood, wild game, prime steaks and even hamburgers for the kids, and all of it served in this classic mountain atmosphere. 3 gorgeous rooms, each one with a huge stone fireplace and a crackling log fire. Completing the perfect mountain atmosphere are beautiful patios surrounded by redwoods, pines and Ward Creek as it rushes by on its way to the lake. Also on Westlake Boulevard is Sunnyside Restaurant and Lodge, another Tahoe landmark since the 50s. And with its location directly on the West Shore, it's not exactly the biggest mystery that Sunnyside's become an all-year-round classic, not just for locals, but for visitors too. But location is not the only reason. The food comes with something of a reputation too, an American-style menu specialising in fresh seafood, steaks and salads. And what better place for lunch in the sunshine than the largest lakefront deck in Tahoe. Well, you've seen the lodge, you've seen the rooms, you've seen the views, you've seen the seafood, you've seen everything there is to see about this extraordinary place. What you haven't seen is the dessert that the Hawaiian sailors would swim ashore for, the hula pie. And all I had to do was ask. Just north of the lake is the small mountain town of Truckee. Once a centre for the budding movie industry, it still retains its beguiling charm and lots more too, like the Truckee River Winery. The Truckee River Winery is on the Truckee River in a little red barn. It's the only winery in Truckee, and it's the highest, and in the winter it's certainly the coldest in the United States. Now, that alone possibly won't have you running here, but the wines will. Winemaker Russ Jones has been busy sharpening his skills to a point as a premier Pinot Noir craftsman, producing limited quantities of Gary's Vineyard Pinot Noir, plus Nevada County Merlot and Lodi Zinfandel. Pinot grapes from the highly coveted Gary's vineyard are brought to Truckee, and then two things happen. They make the wine and they watch it snow. They also wait 2 years while the wine ages in French oak, and all the while Russ Jones oversees the fruition of his handcrafted wines. So what are we having?
This is a 2002 Gary's Vineyard Pinot Noir. I think you'll like that.
Sure I will. Well, when you come here to taste these great wines, you can do so with the winemaker. He'll take you through the whole range, including a barrel tasting at no extra charge. Excellent. Good health. Now here's an interesting fact. The only river that Lake Tahoe drains into is the Truckee, and that's a real big plus for whitewater rafting enthusiasts. Now, tributary whitewater tours have been guiding Californian whitewater rafting trips for more than 25 years, for families with kids or for extreme whitewater enthusiasts, for half days, for whole days, and for lots of days. And with so many rivers to choose from, there'll be something for everyone. Yes, on beautiful, uncrowded Northern California rivers, you can find some of the toughest whitewater and some of the very best family rafting vacation trips in the state. One of the favourites is a fun 7-mile guided adventure down the Truckee River to Floriston. The trip lasts about 3.5 hours and can take little kids from age 7 to big kids age 76. What exactly do you want from your Tahoe accommodation? Because let's face it, there's plenty available for all tastes and for all pockets. Maybe you want to be in the mountains. Maybe you want to be in the forest. Maybe you want to be on the waterfront. Maybe you want all of them, because ultimately it's all about the Tahoe experience. However, if you want something a little bit special, in fact, spectacularly special, you could stay in a place like this. Because it's not just about the architecture, although it is pretty amazing. And it's not just about the location, although that defies description. And it's not just about the amenities, although I doubt you really find anything better anywhere. And it's not just about waking up in the morning to a view that quite literally feeds the soul. It's about all of those wrapped into one. Now, Chase International Properties has homes like this one available all over the Tahoe area. So whether you decide to come here and buy one for a lifetime or rent one just for a night, I guarantee you will never forget that you were here. In 1856, Placer County surveyor Thomas A. Young said, "Squaw Valley is the most beautiful valley the eye of man has ever beheld." And 150 years later, nothing much has changed, although it has come on a bit since its humble beginnings. Just 5 miles from Tahoe's North Shore, Squaw Valley opened in 1949 with one chairlift, a rope tow and a lodge. In 1960, the Winter Olympics were held here, and now Squaw Valley, USA is one of the most talked about and sought after winter recreation destinations in the US. It has one of the world's longest seasons and a spring that offers the very best of both worlds, excellent snow conditions and warm Californian sunshine. Squaw Valley's cable car takes 8 minutes to travel 2,000 vertical feet up the side of a rugged mountain peak to High Camp, with panoramic views of the valley below and the magnificent granite peaks above. And when you get here, there's another view you might quite like. And what else might you expect at 8,200 feet? Oh yeah, a swimming pool and a spa, ice skating at the Olympic Pavilion, a beautiful circular bar, huge expansive sun decks, great food at the poolside cafe and barbecue, and a couple of less obvious attractions. Once you're up here, you might as well stay for the day. The food's great, the scenery is incredible, and the atmosphere simply extraordinary. Squaw Valley, USA. It's not just a resort, it's an adventure. At the base of the mountain is the village at Squaw Valley. It's a small, intimate community that blends the irresistible charm of a European alpine village with contemporary Californian alpine styles. Winding walkways are full of quaint cafes and restaurants, lots of shops and art galleries, plus of course everything to do with all your mountain sport requirements. It's all here in a four-season resort destination with luxury lodging virtually on the slopes. The accommodation in the village really is first class. There are 200 1-, 2- and 3-bedroom condos to rent, really well appointed with top-notch furnishings and top-of-the-range everything, plus great views, naturally. And then, more great views. There's a 24-hour front desk and lots more facilities, including 3 fitness centres and 8 outdoor hot tubs. Talk about convenient, everything's within walking distance. Even the weekly movies shown under the stars on a huge screen, the Friday night concerts and lots of events and festivals throughout the year that are always free to the public. This building, the historic Christie Lodge, was built over 50 years ago as Squaw Valley's very first home. Nowadays, it's Graham's Restaurant, recognised as one of Lake Tahoe's finest dining establishments. Now, as you go inside, just on the left-hand side, there's a fireplace built out of river rock. Now, that fireplace was built by a lady called Sandy Poulsen, who founded the ski area. In fact, back in the 1940s, Sandy and her husband Wayne bought the entire valley and were amongst the area's first ski pioneers, not just here in Squaw Valley, but in other locations in the Sierras. It's got a real mountain lodge feel, and the valley view and mountain view rooms with their large fireplaces and panoramic views really are a perfect setting. Complementing the main building are 6 ensuite rooms decorated in bold, if not brave, colour schemes and available throughout the season, so you can wine, dine and recline. And as for the menu, well, it combines ideas and recipes from both the Mediterranean and the Pacific Rim. Fresh seafood and California-produced foods are a speciality, and listen to this, the wine list has over 800 selections. Better make myself comfy. This could take a while. Imagine you're on North Lake Boulevard in Kings Beach, just along the way from Carnelian Bay. You're with the whole family, or maybe you're just passing through and you need some really outstanding value accommodation, but you don't want to forego the facilities. Ferrari's Crown Resort has been providing lakefront accommodation since 1957 under the same ownership, the Ferrari family. And that warm, friendly atmosphere continues today just as it has done for almost 50 years. There are 71 rooms, suites and large family units, about half of which have lake views, some have useful kitchenettes, and many of them have balconies. And then there's a spotless heated swimming pool, and the biggest plus of all, a big, beautiful private beach and $1 million view. So what do you think? Is this place good value or what? Up in Tahoe Vista on North Lake Boulevard is a great family-run business, Morelatos Lakeshore Resort. This is the resort, and this is the family. Alex, this is a big family. How many of you actually work here?
Well, it is a big Greek family, 16 of us, 3 generations. The family purchased the property back in 1978, and in 1996 through 99, my father, who's an architect, designed the rooms that you see here. We are blessed with a wonderful sandy beach, and each one of our 32 rooms has a lake view. They're being the most modern motel in the area, we We have great amenities, and including 2 on-property spas. We do have a very popular honeymoon suite. It's located on the very front end of the property. It has fantastic views. It's a very popular room.
Now, I always hear this thing about, being Greeks, you never have just one business. I understand you've got a little addition over the road.
We do. We opened up an ice cream shop that is very popular. We cater to a lot of families. Well, we like to tell everybody to come and enjoy a little bit of paradise. And being Greek American and living what I said, hospitality, let me offer you that and some Greek food and say, Opa! Opa!
In the 1940s, Garfield Woods built some of the finest power boats on the water. This is a Garwood's boat. This is Garwood's Pier and Restaurant, and that, my friends, is the connection. Garwood's is year-round lakefront dining. It's right on the water's edge in Carnelian Bay and tinged with a nostalgic ambience and atmosphere of Tahoe's classic wood boating era. You'll get fresh seafood, steaks and pasta on a moderately priced dinner menu. And there are lake views from every table, outdoor dining on a huge sunny deck and live music on weekends. And what a great place for cool specialty cocktails like this one, the Wet Woody, Garwood's signature cocktail. A frozen blend of rum, peach schnapps, cranberry, orange, pineapple and sweet and sour. Since Garwood's opened, more than 1 million of these Wet Woodies have been served, and included in the price is the sunset. However you choose to spend your time in Tahoe, the probability is that it'll be one of life's greater experiences. The scenery here never fails to impress. The range of activities is seemingly endless. And when the sun finally sets on this most magnificent of geographical wonders, it'll be with the certainty that another day in Tahoe is just a few hours away. One big beautiful blue lake. When Mark Twain first set his eyes on its crystal clear waters, he described it as surely the fairest picture the whole earth affords. Lake Tahoe sits directly south of the Cascades, 6,225 feet above sea level at the northern end of the Sierra Nevada mountains and straddling the border between Nevada and California. The air here is pure, crisp and clean, and the sun shines 80% of the time. And together with all that sunshine is an average of some 400 inches of snowfall a year. That's a lot of sunshine, a lot of snow, and a lot of lake inside 72 miles of dazzling shoreline. There are beautiful beaches, resorts, golf courses, rivers and ski areas all around Tahoe, which means spectacular all year round scenery and equally spectacular all year round sports. But sometimes all you need is just peace and quiet, and there are places for that too. There's such a lovely, relaxed, rustic demeanour here that seems to create days full of special moments. Up here in Tahoe, they call these special moments pure experiences. This is Tahoe City, and I know what you're going to say. It's kind of small for a city. Well, yes it is, but on the upside, you can see pretty much all of it from where I'm standing. In fact, from here, you can see the marina and mall, which is where I'm heading. The marina is one of the oldest on Tahoe. Prior to the 1930s, it was the end of the line for the railroad when it came into Tahoe City. Hi, I'm Simon Kane and welcome to A Taste of California, coming to you from the shores of Lake Tahoe. To most first-time travellers to the area, Lake Tahoe is buildings there that house the mall and the restaurant with the original roundhouse and maintenance buildings, and these days the marina looks very nicely after its boating public and its discerning diners and shoppers. Virtually all of these big beauties are privately owned, and it is a full-service marina, so everything can be taken care of for you. But let's assume that you don't have your own transport. Well, you'll be delighted to know that you can rent a boat by the hour. There's a 4-hourly rate, or maybe a whole day, or even more. And there are just two things you need to know. Firstly, you don't need a license. All you have to do is take a 20-minute orientation